Hey, John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I got this question that I'm actually not going to read this email because this is sort of, uh, we went a little bit back and forth, and I'm going to kind of distill this down to what I think that's really being asked here, which is basically, do companies know what they're looking for, or how do you know if a company knows what they're looking for, and how does that affect you? So this is what I mean by this. This is a common scenario I think that maybe you've experienced if you've gone into a job interview. You go in, the job description says they're looking for whatever it is, ASP.NET developer or Ruby on Rails developer, and then they start asking you all kinds of questions about Java and the mean stack and JUnit and all these other things, right? So uh, or they say that they're agile or they love TDD, and then you go in there and they're basically not agile, they're anti-agile and they're anti-TDD. So and it's almost like you're being tricked, right? It's like they this is the ideals that they're shooting for, or someone different than who's hiring put the job description in place, or that this is what they think is the most popular thing to attract candidates. Unfortunately, this does happen, right? So how do you know if they're full of it, right? If they actually know what they're looking for or not, and how to play that. So this is kind of tough because there's really no way to do this, right? The best that you can do is be as specific about what you know as possible. The worst, or the way that you're more likely to run into more of these companies is if you haven't researched the company well ahead of time, if you're coming in from a cold resume and you haven't gotten a personal referral, and your resume is a generalist resume that just has a bunch of technologies listed on there. Because what is likely to happen in that case, right? That perfect storm of bad, 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 which is actually where I'd say most developers are in there, right? The 90% of developers have all three of those conditions happening for them. What happens there is a lot of times the job description is not what they're actually using to screen the resumes. They're looking at your resume. They say, oh, well, you have like all these different skills, so this is what we do here, so you'll be fine. Even though we said we were looking for a Ruby specialist or whatever, it looks like you have Java on here as well. So they start asking you all these other questions, and they figure it's fine, right, when they bring you in for the interview. So that's how that happens on that end. The other thing that happens is, or how to avoid this is basically do some research on the company and get a personal referral. I always say that you should not be going into a company just with a cold resume, right? That means don't just send your resume to a company and to apply for a job. Try to find someone in the company, talk to them first, try to get to know someone, try to get some kind of a personal referral. And if you're going about that way, then you're going to be able to ask these questions and figure out what technologies they are using and what you actually need to prepare for, because the job description often doesn't match the interview. Some people get ticked off at this, right? I've been at interviews where the candidate's been like ticked off because we're asking questions that they didn't prepare for, and I'm like, well, you just lost a job now because because you're not showing yourself to be a professional. But I understand your frustration, right? That you thought this job was this, and now we're asking these other questions and it's stumping you. Okay, so that's, I can understand the frustration, but again, whose fault is that? You can say it's the company's fault, and that's fine. It might be. Companies are confused, but it's sort of your fault if you didn't check this out, if you didn't ask the right questions ahead of time. It always helps to ask what is going to be covered in the interview. Some companies aren't going to tell you, right? But a lot of times, if you get the chance, say, hey, I want to prepare best for the interview. Want to make sure that the matchup is right. What type of things or what kind of technologies or things are you interested in? Just maybe in your first meeting before you even get to the interview stage of bringing that up and trying to feel out for that, to try to get that information. But the best thing is going to be to have some kind of a personal referral, because then you're going to know for sure, right? Then you're going to really get the information, the inside scoop about what's going on with that company. If you just do a little bit of research on the internet, you'll probably find plenty of information as well. Look at their product, right? Ask some questions about it before you even get to the interview, so you'll understand what is it built in, right? If they say that they are an ASP.NET MVC shop, and you look at their website, and it's old ASP, right? And you see that there's some VB6 apps that they're selling that you can download, that you can tell from the look of it, right? Then maybe they're aspiring to be ASP.NET MVC, but they're not there yet, right? If they say that they're agile and they're doing Scrum, and then you find out, you ask just the question about what does their typical workday look like, or what, or you look at you ask something about their shipping cycle, questions that are, if you say, are you Scrum, do you use Scrum, they're going to say yes. But if you start asking some of those other questions, you might be able to figure that out and realize that, oh, wait a minute, this is not, they aspire to be doing agile development, they aspire to be doing Scrum, they aspire to be doing TDD, but they're not really doing that. So, once you're at that point, what can you do? The company is what it is, but your best bet is to screen it out ahead of time to make sure that things that really do align, that they do really align. If you're just looking for a job, again, you're still going to be more of in a benefit matching up rather than, you're going to have a big disadvantage if you don't know what they're going to ask, if you don't know that the job description, it fits exactly what the job is. And even if you get one of those jobs, let's say that you go in for an interview for some job that doesn't fit the job description, they start asking you all kinds of other stuff, and then you get the job. Well, that's a kind of a crappy position to be in, because now you're going to be working this job that you didn't perhaps want to sign up for, working with technologies that are old or that you didn't want to work with, that aren't in your area that you want to grow in. So, it's worth taking the time ahead of time to figure this out. Yes, I totally agree with you when you say that there are companies that don't know what they're really looking for, but it's up to you to figure that out. Because they're not going to tell you. They're going to think that they are a Scrum shop. They're going to think that they're doing ASP.NET MVC. They're the manager who wrote that job description is going to perhaps even be trying to attract candidates because they know what technologies are popular. They want to get someone in the door. They're not realizing, that they're doing a disservice to themselves and to prospective people that they hire when they do that. So yeah, so it's really, the ball is in your court. Like I said, go in through a personal referral if you can. Research the company ahead of time. When you do the phone screen or whatever, ask a lot of questions, so that you can get this sorted out, and you're going to run into less and less of these problems. Well, hopefully that helps you. And if you have a question for me, don't hesitate to email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. I can't accommodate all the questions that I get, but I do try to answer a lot of them by video or even by a short email if I can. So if you like this video, if you like this channel, definitely subscribe and you'll get more videos like this one. Take care.